Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angels in Action with Susie, Antara, and Larkin. My name is Larkin. Susie is enjoying some time with her precious granddaughter today, and she may or may not pop in. I had some animal rescue come up, so I went ahead and moved this broadcast back a little bit because I was in the middle of some animal rescue. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you guys are here on the rebroadcast or whether you are joining me live, I'm so happy to have you with me here today. So I want to share with you, for those of you who have not listened before, and for those of you who have, just remind you what it is that we, let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting my messages. There we go. What it is we do on Angels in Action. We do focus on and talk about angels, angelic energy, and how to connect and communicate with your angels. But we do so much more than that. We connect you with your spirit teams. We bring forth messages from source and spirit, from your spirit teams. This means your spirit guides, your angels, your teachers and guides from the other side, your loved ones, your non-human animals crossed over, your animal totems. We talk about anything and everything spiritual and metaphysical. We even talk about some paranormal things because often people get on here and they have questions about that. Okay, so we talk about what this has to do with creating transformation in your life, with what this has to do with manifesting, with healing, and everything is energy. And all energy has a vibrational frequency. So what we're really doing in all cases is interpreting vibrational frequency and helping you to learn to do that as well. Okay, so I consider this a sacred hour. And you guys can ask any questions you want. You can ask for readings. You can ask about life on the other side, about reincarnation, about dreams. And don't forget, on Fridays, I have Furball Friday, just dedicated to everything non-human animal. Okay. So also today, guys, I do have my angel cards. I always bring the angel cards for Angels in Action. So I have several sets of my favorite angel cards for whatever we need them for today. Cards are not necessary, but they are a fun way of bringing spirit through and bringing through beautiful messages from spirit. Okay. So we've got that for you today. I'm going to go ahead and set the ambiance here. Again, I always take the first few minutes to do this in all of my broadcasts because it is creating the sacred space that we all need for our sacred hour together. Okay. And this is a sacred hour. I know last time I was on, I asked you guys to define what sacred meant to you. And it really is a sacred hour together. It's a time to leave your stuff at the door, your worries, your thoughts at the door, and to come and to relax. So when we get a few of you logging on, again, guys, I moved the time back because I had some animal rescue today. But when I have more of you logged on, we're going to do a little we'll do a little centering and meditation exercises because this is a sacred hour and spirit does come through here to us. And also the voice of your higher self comes through here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and light my incense first. Please remember, if you just so happen to watch us on the rebroadcast, the rebroadcasts are not any less significant. Spirit always knows who is on these lives. Spirit knows where you're going to be all the time. So even if you watch this broadcast 5 years after it was made, there's still going to be something in here for you. Okay. So please don't ever think, oh, if you've missed a broadcast that, it's not valuable. I listened to broadcasts years after they were made, and they're every bit as valuable because Spirit's going to know that you're listening, and there'll be a message there for you if you're open to receiving it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and light my incense first. My lighter burned out, so I'm back to matches for a little while. All right, we have some patchouli today, guys. Some patchouli. I got some more incense. You can try some new and different things. All right, there we go. We've got that. And then we're also going to light a candle. Let's remember how sacred the 4 elements are. Earth, air, wind, and fire. There's actually more than that, but these are very, very important. They're elements of life, but they're so important. And so when you guys are setting your sacred space and you're bringing in crystals, or you're bringing in incense, or you're bringing in candles, all of these things change the energy and the frequency. And more importantly, they change your perception. They affect your senses. So they're creating a sacred space for you. And that's the most important part, because while we're here in human form, this is when we struggle the most. This is when we struggle to connect the most. Okay. So that's very important to remember. Do I have comments on? Yes, I do. So if and when you guys log on, even if you log on just for on the rebroadcast, feel free to say hello. Let me know where you're listening from first. While we're waiting for people to log on and I'm setting the ambiance, I want to remind you guys, I have a bunch of wonderful things coming up. Free and low paid events. Susie has magnificent cards that she's been working on. She's really, truly a gifted artist, and she has, beautiful paintings and things. And now, she has journals and beautiful cards. She's going to do some illustrations for my spirit guide cards that I'm creating. And she's just really talented. So, if you get the opportunity to check onto her Susie Antara creative page and check that out, you will not be disappointed. Likewise, I have some things going on. I have the Awakening Your Intuition program is starting in October. People have started to register, and I'm so excited. The most beautiful clients have registered for that. Excuse me. I'm allergic to hay and dust, and I'm in it every day. And also, my friends, we have the mindset coaching, which is so, so vital and important for each and every one of you. Okay. So let's take a few moments and get centered while we're waiting for everyone to come in. If you guys are logged on and watching, feel free to say hello. We're probably going to have less people today just because I did move the time back without much notice. And but it doesn't mean it's not still going to be a powerful broadcast. And then I'm going to be on at 4 p.m. EDT, 9 p.m. BST in Veronica Jenkins' Find Me a Medium group as well today. So I want to, as we get started, and you guys always hear me talking about this being a sacred hour. What does that mean? What does it mean to have a sacred hour? What does it mean to make this a sacred hour? And what does sacred mean to you? Really think about what sacred means to you, because that is going to determine for you, excuse me, that is going to determine for you how you take this time. And when you have or create sacred time in your life during the week, during the day, maybe you take a walk, maybe you sit down and light a candle and meditate in your room. Maybe you are, go to a church and sit down and pray for a while. Maybe you're removing a little insect from your home and you recognize how sacred that life is. And I want you to really think about what does sacred actually mean to you? Because nothing has meaning until we give it meaning. Okay. And so when we take this time out, when you join us here and you take this time out in your day, you're not just joining us here, but you're also practicing when you're going to be creating your own sacred time in your own life. Okay. You're practicing when and how you're going to practice your personal meditation time, your manifestation time, your healing time, your setting intention time, your journaling time. I'm going to give you guys a couple of things that bring sacredness about in your presence, okay? And one of them is, it's basically when we find that inner stillness, when we find that inner peace that the observer behind our thoughts is, all right, that is when we really tap into sensing the sacred, okay? So you might feel it's sacred when you walk into a church or temple. You might, watch a baby being born and that might be sacred to you. You might be walking out in the silence of the forest and that's sacred. But each and every one of you has a blueprint within you. Your eternal soul, you are eternal. Your being was here prior to this life, and your being will be here after this life. Okay, it will exist eternally, and that being is sacred, and that being is part of the sacredness of all that is. Okay, so when we get on here, we talk about your spirit teams, we answer your questions, we give readings. All of that is really, it's sacred, right? It's a sacred part of you being whole, you not being a person with a soul, but you being an eternal conscious soul that is here in temporary form. Okay. So I want to, while we're waiting for people to log on, until people log on with questions and requests, I want to talk for a few minutes about the different ways we bring in information. Almi, welcome. Hello. Great to see you. The different ways that we bring in information. And it all starts with intuition, right? Intuition is the foundation of all psychic abilities. So this is why I've created the Awakening Your Intuition program. What I have found in doing these free 20-minute discovery calls that I've been giving people, by the way, guys, I only do 5 of those a week because they're free assessments of where you are and what you're wanting and what you want to transform. And they're for people that are very authentically sincere and serious about their spiritual path, their metaphysical development, their intuitive development, remembering who they are, and are wanting to create change and transformation in their lives. Okay, so hi, Tammy, welcome. So if you guys are wanting that assessment and you are sincere and serious about it, I do 5 of those a week, and I give you a plan as to the next 3 steps you need to do. Now, some people, I do these discovery calls and I know they're a perfect fit. They're like, I want to work with you, Larkin. Other people can't afford to do anything. And I just give them a plan for how to get out of where they feel stuck for absolutely for free. Okay, this is not a sales call. This is an assessment call. Will I invite you to join one of my programs if I know or think I can help you on one of the 3 financial levels that I offer? Yes, absolutely, because I want to assist you. If I know a program or a coach that I know is a good match for you, or a book or a system, then that is going to be part of your plan. But these calls are only 20 minutes. So we have to think clearly. We have to get to the point, but you will walk away, with a plan, with knowing what you need to do next. And then it's up to you to do that. Okay. But the Awakening Your Intuition program, which I'm so excited I'm getting people to register for that because it starts in October. Guys, that's about getting back to who you really are. Your intuition holds the answers to anything and everything you ever want to know and be. And you're in, what I've noticed in doing these discovery calls and in talking to people that want to join my Awakening Your Intuition program is that people don't actually know what intuition is. And so I think that is exceedingly important that you guys understand what intuition is. And hold on, I gotta grab something. I'm gonna share that with you right now. Do you guys know what intuition is? How many of you think you know what intuition is? Does anybody want to put in the comments what you think intuition is? Because I think we hear the word so much, just like we hear the word gratitude, but I don't think that a lot of people actually understand what intuition is. So if you want to take a guess and pop that in the comments, that would be great. Intuition is the voice of your eternal soul, guys. It's the voice of your true self that comes through while you are here in physical form. All right. So it's your soul wisdom. Your intuition is the equivalent of your spirit guides, which, by the way, if any of you want to join the Meet Your Spirit Guides, I have a few spaces left. It is September 14th, and you can find it pinned to my Psychic Medium page on Facebook. Okay. But you have to register. It's only $40. And that's like, I charge $150 an hour for a reading. So $40 for 2 hours. You literally have your spirit guides introduce themselves to you. Is that not, that is just, that is so exciting to me because this was their idea. They said, Larkin, come on, you got to do this. You got to have an event where we can, you can hold the space for people for us to introduce ourselves to them. This doesn't mean that people have not already been connecting with their spirit guides. You might already be connecting with them. But this event is for everyone. So whether you aren't aware of your spirit guides at all, whether you're aware of them a little bit, whether you're unsure if you're aware of them or not, you think they're there, you can feel they're there, but you're not quite sure, or whether you know for sure they're there and you work very closely with them, wherever you are currently with your spirit guides, the Meet Your Spirit Guides event will take you to a deeper level. Before I get back into talking about intuition, what I would recommend, however, is that in the link for the Meet Your Spirit Guides event on my page, I would recommend that you watch the Spirit Guide Saturday video that I did last December. In that video, I basically give you all the core basic foundation that you need to know about your spirit guides to know if you want to register for this event. It answers all the basic questions about spirit guides. And it was really a divinely guided video because I couldn't have made it more perfectly. And I know it wasn't me. I know it was my intuition and it was spirit. Okay, so please listen to that video first. Okay, and then if you want to register, remember there's only 10 spaces and I have less than that now because people are registering. Okay, so your intuition is that voice of your eternal soul. And you are an incarnated version of your spirit team, right? So when you have an intuition, your spirit team is going to have the same guidance, suggestion, opinion as your intuition, okay? And so that's a great way to learn to get more confident about your intuition, having your spirit guides back that up. It's also a great way to build confidence in connecting with your spirit guides because your intuition can support what they're telling you, okay? So you'll start to find that the knowledge and wisdom and awareness that your intuition has, that's your higher self that's not incarnated, okay? That's coming through you, coming through your mind. That is actually the voice of your soul. And the only way to hear that is to learn to still the mind, okay? Which is why I always encourage you guys, get some mindset coaching or join my Awakening Your Intuition program so you can learn to balance the noisiness of your mind with your intuition, okay? This is, people think, oh, they just see this as kind of something separate. Oh, this is just a new age thing or a spiritual thing. No, spirit is very, very practical. Spirit is exceedingly practical. And the guidance they give you is always true and genuine, and it always has implication in your tangible reality. And so the more we understand this, the more we see that our intuition, our ability to connect with our spirit guides and hear what they're saying to us, even if we don't know it's them, is absolutely pertinent to our transformation, to healing, to manifesting. It's not separate. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So your thoughts are the first form of manifested energy. Okay, they're the thoughts, the first form of manifestation. They're just energy. There's nothing in the universe that in existence that is not energy. Fire is energy. Okay, air is energy. There's energy in air. Your thoughts are energy. Your body's energy. For those of you that haven't heard me say this, and I haven't said it in a while, you are 99.9% space. 99.9% space. That means while you're looking at me on this screen, you're actually looking through me. Your brain is filling in the pieces and making me appear whole. If you look at your hand, you're actually looking through your hand. But your brain, bless its heart, is filling in the pieces. And so it appears solid to you. This, if you clap your hands, it feels solid to you. That's the illusion. It's not actually solid, okay? If the molecules and the atoms were aligned in a certain way, your hands would pass right through each other. So you're not really solid. There is no real solid physical reality, period, ever, okay? And that in and of itself is an illusion. But when the atoms and molecules are aligned in such a way, then guess what? We feel a clap. We feel pain. We feel a hug. We can experience the tangible, okay? And that's really what it is to be here in this physical world. Another really cool thing that we dive more deeply into in my programs, but I want to share with you guys here today is, and I often remind you guys of this in different ways, because you're an eternal soul, right? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. All energy is conscious. So your soul has always been just like God and Source, and always will be. You're a part of Source energy, okay? There is nothing that is not God energy. Nothing. Even those things you think are evil and you think are dark and you think are bad, that's just the absence of Source consciousness, okay? That which we call God, and I don't like to use that term anymore because it's overused and it's abused. And it turns a lot of people off as well, including me in many ways because of that. But that which we call God, Source, Spirit, energy is impermeable. And it's infinite. And that means you cannot escape it. So when those of you out there are saying, well, I'm struggling, I'm suffering, I'm struggling, I'm having a hard time, I hear all the time from reading clients and even some coaching clients, I've been deserted, God's not there for me. That's not true either. But what happens is when we are in a certain amount of pain or struggling or suffering, or we're obsessed with something we're overthinking, our egoic veil gives us the illusion of separation. And when you have the illusion of separation, you feel like you're alone. Okay? You feel like God, Source, Spirit hasn't heard you. That's not true. God, Source, Spirit always hears you and always responds. If you feel alone, or you're feeling deserted, or you're feeling not heard, or you're feeling your prayers aren't answered, or you're feeling you're not receiving help, that is your perception. That is your egoic veil's illusion. That is not truth. Okay? And this is very important to remember because this is a big part of maintaining our faith. And I do not mean that in a religious way. I mean, your faith in, and faith is different than belief, your faith in things are always working out for you. Your faith in who you are, your faith in your connection, your faith in being unconditionally loved and supported by God's source spirit and your spirit team. Okay. So pass this on to people who are struggling or who are wanting to manifest something and they feel like they're not doing a very good job of that. Sorry guys, I've got animal rescue stuff this morning. I got stuff, hair and everything in my eyes. You really want to get into this relaxed state of allowing, which is why I always ask people when they get on here to take a few moments and relax, to get in their center. Everything doesn't always have to be busy. Everything doesn't always have to be talking. Everything doesn't always have to be shared or communicated. Everything doesn't always have to be figured out. Everything doesn't always have to be worked out. Sometimes when things aren't going the way we want, and we're panicked about things having to be fixed, nothing has to be fixed. A lot of this on your part, which humans need to understand, and we don't because of our egoic veil, is the art of allowing, as Abraham Hicks calls it. Okay? Everything you guys are, I don't want to say wanting, because wanting, as Abraham Hicks says, every subject is two subjects. So when you're talking about wanting, you're always entertaining the opposite, which is you're acknowledging and giving energy to the not having, right? When you're saying I want, you're saying I don't have. You're saying I'm in a state of want. You're saying I'm lacking. But everything it is that are the experiences and the ways you want to feel and the experiences you want to have, the frequency that you are desiring, the experience that you're desiring, that you want, that you have a goal for, that you're focused on, it's already yours. It's already here. And it's so hard to believe that, right? People are all the time, they're like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. I'm right here in my, I've been a manifesting coach, guys, for 15 years. So I've heard people say this for over a decade. And I have felt it myself. I'm over here and what I want's over here. I'm so far from that. And what people don't understand is that within a matter of 6 to 12 months, you can make major transformations depending on how deep in the hole you got yourself. Okay. How deep you are and how ready and willing you are to get out of your comfort zone. That's really what it determines. Okay. And source and spirit, your spirit team, I cannot emphasize this enough for people who get readings. They are not here to tell you what to do, and they are not here to answer all the questions that you want. When you ask the right questions and you learn to ask the right questions, you get really powerful answers. They're here to guide you because since you are that physical manifestation of your spirit team, you're the one here with free will. You're the one that has to make the choices. You're the ones that has to take the action. And so because of that, they're here to give you guidance. They're here to empower you. They're here to help you make those powerful choices. Okay. And so that's what we do here on this broadcast. We help bring that wisdom through. We help answer your spiritual and metaphysical questions, even your paranormal questions. How does that fit into healing, transforming, and manifesting? How do we tap into our intuition? And, I was telling someone the other day on one of my free discovery calls, and this was a client who actually wanted to join my Awakening Your Intuition program. But I was telling her about how intuition is like a muscle. And I even put a photo on the on the package on my website, you can see when you look up Awakening Intuition Metaphysical Sampler course, it has a photograph and it says intuition is like a muscle. It must be practiced, right? So ask yourself, how much are you practicing your intuition right now? Are you practicing it? Are you listening to it or aren't you? I had horse grain I had to get out of the car the other night. My spirit guides were trying. I didn't know it was in the car. So I ordered 2 bags of grain from Chewy, and I was, I waited late. I went to turn the horses out late because Chewy usually delivers in a day. And I thought, well, if I just wait until the evening, sometimes I leave for the barn, then they just drop off my grain. And I knew I only had like 2 days worth of grain left, just enough for the setups for the day I wasn't going to be there. And I had to leave. I headed to the barn. I get to the barn, I get out of my car, and I walk around. Now, if the grain had been in the back of my car, I would have opened my trunk and I would have pulled my grain out, put it in a wheelbarrow, and taken it into the barn. As I got out of the car, because I was guys, this even happens to me, and I've been interacting with my spirit guides my whole life, just as though they're really there as humans, right? But as I'm getting out of the car, my spirit guides are going, hey, don't forget to open your trunk and, get your grain out. I was hearing it as, hey, stop. Aren't you forgetting something? And I'm having this conversation in my head. I'm not even noticing it's my spirit guides, which again, you guys could say, but Larkin, if you've been doing this your whole life and you interact with them like you do other people, how could you miss that? Well, it's easy. Do you hear everything anyone always says to you? Do you actually really hear what they're saying? Do you actually really listen? If you're busy and you're focused on something else, don't you miss what other humans say? Do you have a wife or a husband? It's usually the husbands who don't hear, but it's usually the wife who's going like this and the husband who doesn't hear it. But do you have a spouse or a significant other that you talk to or you've told something to, and they look at you and they say, okay, and then you come home hours later and you realize they didn't hear you at all? Or they didn't get the item at the grocery store that they nodded to, or you thought they heard you and they didn't. Well, it's the same with spirit guides. You can miss or not hear or misunderstand or misinterpret spirit the same way you can a person, no matter how good you are at interacting with them, because we hear what's in our head. We don't hear what's really being said to us. Which is why I tell people, if you're listening like to a Dr. Joe Dispenza video or one of my lives, or you're listening to Eckhart Tolle, don't just listen to a video or a live once. In my training course, I'm going to be telling my clients, don't just listen to my course videos once. Because when we just hear things once, we don't get them. We don't hear them. We don't process them if we're distracted and our mind is busy listening to other things. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. You can miss your spirit guide speaking to you just as easily as you miss a person. So yes, I missed my spirit guide's message. I missed that it was even them or was anything significant because my mind was in a hurry. I was in a hurry to get to the barn. I'd stayed home late so I could wait for the grain. The grain didn't come, so I was agitated. I had to, open the lock, get in the barn, take everything in. I was in a hurry. I wanted to get everybody out. I was focused on what I was going to have to do to get the horses cared for and out. And so when my spirit guides were like, hey, where are you going? And I walked around the car. I opened the gate. I got my other stuff up. My spirit guides are still going, Larkin, aren't you forgetting something? That's how I heard it. What they were really saying was, Larkin, your grain's in the car. Check the trunk. Check the trunk. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, why do I keep thinking this? Right? Because I wasn't tuned into listening to my spirit guides. It could have been my husband right there, and I wouldn't have heard him either. So I get inside only to find that I'm out of grain. So the day I hadn't been there, and the girl who fed me right before I got there had used my last bit of grain up. I thought I had 2 days left. I didn't. So then I was like all frazzled. Oh my God, my horses aren't going to. So my husband calls and I'm complaining and I'm telling him all about this. And he says, do you mind if I intervene for a moment? And I said, yes, of course I mind that you intervene for a moment. You're not even listening to a thing I'm saying. And he said, well, okay, go on then. But I really think you'd like it if I intervened and shared something with you. And I was like, okay, fine. So next thing you know, my husband says, well, there are 2 bags of grain in your car. So what had happened was, even though I'd been on discovery calls and client calls all day, and every time my dogs bark, I peeked out the window because I thought Chewy was bringing my bags of grain. I hadn't seen it. Evidently, they had delivered my grain in the morning, and my husband had put them in my car, and he'd gotten busy, and we hadn't seen each other, and he hadn't told me. So, just keep in mind, guys, even someone, I interact with my spirit guides all the time, every day. I've done it for 50 years, right? I'm almost 50 years old. I've done this almost 50 years. And yet, I got out of my car and I completely ignored them, misunderstood them, didn't hear them. Why? Because my head was too noisy with my own thoughts. So it doesn't matter how good you are. You're still human. You're still going to hear your thoughts. If your thoughts are racing and they're noisy and they're loud, then you're not going to hear your intuition. You're not going to hear your spirit guides. You're not going to hear your angels. You're not going to hear your loved ones. You're not going to hear your animals, your sweet little animals that are trying to talk to you. Okay? So this is one of the reasons why I believe when the spirit guides ask me, please create a Meet Your Spirit Guides event, because we want to connect with the people we are guiding, with the souls incarnated whom we are guiding in this lifetime at a deeper level. And we want to be able to deepen our relationship with them, to deepen their trust in us, to allow them to build confidence that what they're sensing really is us, to know how to communicate and receive from us better, to be better receivers, to get validation of who we are, to get validation of how long we've been with them. Okay, so the Meet Your Spirit Guide event provides all of this and allows you to walk away. Hey, Natalie, welcome. Allows you to walk away with a deeper connection and communication to your spirit guides. Okay, so Natalie, I was just talking about, you'll have to go back and listen. You'll appreciate this. I was sharing, or I can share it tomorrow too on the mastermind, but I was sharing a little story about my spirit guides trying to communicate with me on Saturday, and how I completely missed it. So, how are you today, Natalie from Canada? Welcome, welcome. Guys, I have about 20 to 30 minutes left that I'm going to stay on here with you. Did anyone have any questions? I have all sorts of things Spirit would like to share, but does anyone have any questions today about spirit or metaphysical, your spiritual path and transforming, or energy and manifesting? These are all things that, we're going to be covering in the Awakening Your Intuition program. You guys, whoever joins that, I'm so excited for that. You're going to be learning to strengthen your intuition through these fun, different aspects of metaphysical. And, I think that might be a great thing to actually share on here today while I'm on here before I get off, is what is the difference? And I asked someone on a discovery call this the other day, what is the difference between spiritual and metaphysical? What is the difference between spiritual and metaphysical? If you guys, does anybody want to take a guess? Natalie, if you're still on there, do you want to take a guess? I think I would love to hear what you guys think about. Interesting. I'm not broadcasting live on here. My Facebook page is not broadcasting. Isn't that weird? Huh. Hey Natalie, can you tell me, is it do you see me live on Facebook? It says I'm not. Oh, it does say I am. Okay. Okay, there it is. Wow, that didn't come up. I was going to say there's really something wrong with my. Okay, it's working. Yay. So what is the difference between metaphysical and spiritual? You see me on Facebook, Natalie? Okay, good. I see it now too. Thank you for that. I think this is really important, guys, because what I see is a lot of people have no idea what metaphysical is. And so when I hosted this course, Awakening Your Intuition, a metaphysical sampler, I figured everybody knew what metaphysics was. I mean, I've been dabbling in metaphysics and learning and practicing it for decades. I mean, I don't even remember it, 30 years. And I remember my mother saying, my parents were both teachers. And I remember my mother saying to me as I was, starting to write the course up, she said, well, how do you know people know what metaphysics is? And I said, well, of course they do. Of course, everybody knows what metaphysics is. I said, any of these people that are going to be getting readings and into anything like, spiritual and metaphysics in the metaphysical sense of spiritual, of course they know what metaphysics is because they've been taking courses, they've been doing readings, they're working with readers that are using metaphysical tools. How could they not know what metaphysics was? And then I got on a discovery call. Those free 20-minute assessment calls that I'm offering you guys that I only do 5 a week of. So there's only a couple left if you just want a free discovery call this week. But I got on there and I decided to ask this question. This lady's spirit guide said, well, ask her if she knows what the difference is between spiritual and metaphysical, because, she's interested in your metaphysical program and she'd be a really great match. Ask her the question. And so I asked her, hi, Ward, welcome. So I asked her, do you know the difference? And Natalie, I love that you're answering. So I'll get to your answer in a second, okay? I asked this lady, do you know the difference between spiritual and metaphysical? And she said, no, I have no idea what metaphysical is. And I was like, oh, my mom was right. So that's why I want to ask you guys this question, because, I know even on Veronica's group, when I remember being on there one time and somebody was talking about spiritual and metaphysical and they were lumping it all together. And Veronica actually chimed in on my reading and she messaged in the comments and she said, well, spirituality and metaphysics are not the same thing. And so she was right. And so then I was like, oh my God, they don't realize, they don't know what metaphysics is. So then I had to go ahead on her page and correct that, help that person understand, help the audience understand. So moms are usually right. Yes, I know. I was going to say that too. They are. My mom would love that. It's great. I wish she'd be hearing this right now. Maybe she is. I don't know. But so I want to share that with you guys so that you actually understand, because if you look at this or you hear me say my new course is Awaken Your Intuition, a metaphysical sampler, and you're going, what is metaphysics? You're not going to know how that can serve you, right? So let me take Natalie's answers first, and then I will give you guys the answer. Let's see. I would say metaphysical is everything that humans cannot see or are aware of. What a great answer. I love that. Okay. Everything is outside our 3D physical world. Wow. That is such a great answer. I love it. So I'm going to put back on here. So the metaphysical, that's actually a very accurate answer, Natalie. I'm going to start with spiritual for a moment, okay? Spirituality is first of all, both metaphysics and spirituality. And guys, and I want to throw this note in there. I've been doing this more often so you guys understand where I'm coming from when I speak and why I bounce around so much, okay? It's not my ADHD. It's because I am constantly channeling. So if someone asks me a question or I am doing a reading, I am participating and communicating and using my wisdom and knowledge and awareness and intuition as Larkin, but I am also constantly channeling. I do not have to close my eyes or go to sleep to channel. Things just flow through me, okay? They're not me, but I can engage and participate fully conscious and awake. I am very grateful for that. I think it is much more fun to watch people channel when they disappear and they go to sleep. And I can do that too, but I prefer to be able to participate. So I do it a little differently. I'll often bounce back and forth. That's why you hear me saying a lot, because I'm going back and forth. So just keep that in mind, or if you see me bouncing around, that's why, okay? Our spiritual path, our spirituality, our spiritual connection, okay, is like, it is represented by the golden thread from our soul that is incarnated here in this world. And by the way, only part of our soul, only part of us is incarnated. The rest of us is still on the other side. Okay, so when you guys are talking to your intuition, remember I said your intuition has the same knowledge and wisdom, is privy to the same outside of time and space knowledge and wisdom as your spirit team does. That's what I mean. Because not all of you is here. Not all of you is influenced by this egoic veil, okay? The greater part of you is actually still on the other side. There's just a part of you that is focused in here as though my father explained, as though you put a glove on. That part of you is here. The rest of you is not, okay? Hard to believe, but that's how it is. So your spirituality is your connection to and as God and source and spirit yourself, right? Remember earlier I said God, source, spirit is everything. Hi, KR. Welcome from Maine. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're having a deep conversation today, and we're discussing the difference between metaphysical and spiritual, okay? So where was I? So that is your connection. So since God, source, spirit is everything, is in everything, you can't escape it. Okay. Your spirituality is your connection to that source. Okay. And your own spiritual path is your own. Now, metaphysics, Natalie, very close to really what you said. You were actually very accurate about your answer, Natalie. Again, I'm going to remind you guys, all of these are human terms. These are not the terms that spirit uses. These are human terms. So when I am channeling or I am doing a reading, I not only have to translate the frequency, but I have to translate it into words that actually are the closest thing to mean what I'm being shown or told, okay? So metaphysics is the human word and definition for everything that you said, Natalie, that is really non-physical, okay? Non-physical. So it studies and practices connecting basically the non-physical world, the energetic world, with the physical manifested world, okay, tangible world. Manifested does not just mean physical, by the way, or tangible. When you're on the other side, you manifest like this. Just by thinking about something, you manifest it. Thought is the first form of manifestation, which Natalie knows because she's been one of my mindset clients. Okay, so please understand that there's a difference. Now, metaphysics, the studies of metaphysics include card reading, pendulums, crystals, energy work, chakra work, auric work, talking to fairies and elves, all these things that if you guys go to a metaphysical fair or you go to a reader, that's all metaphysics. Okay. And it is the studying and the understanding of and the practicing of that connection, that gap between non-physical and physical. Okay. And so I think that's very important. So the reason I called my new course Awakening Your Intuition, a Metaphysical Sampler, is because the most important thing you guys can do is to remember who you are as a soul. Your cosmic memory. A lot of people call it Akashic records, as experiences that you have or will have, that your soul has or will have. But you carry with you your cosmic memory. And you determine before you're born how much of that you bring with you. You try to program into you to remember to bring. I have a very, very intact cosmic memory because I needed that for what I was here to do. But for a lot of you, you intentionally chose not to bring a lot of cosmic memory back because you wanted and needed the freedom to play here in this world. We're just here temporarily to learn and to play. And if you came with all the baggage of all your other experiences of existence, other universes, other planets, other realms, other dimensions, other lives, other forms of being, it would get pretty confusing. You'd be carrying your past with you because that's what our human selves do, right? We hang on to the past. We can't let go. We have to define everything. So it's so sacred to be able to, we're talking about sacred. We started this whole broadcast talking about what's sacred. It is so sacred to be able to incarnate. Excuse me. I get thirsty, guys, when I talk so much. It is sacred to be able to incarnate without all the baggage. It's like our soul going on a mini vacation to play. You get to come into this world. You get to play a role. You have other players with you. You get to, play out these roles, play out these relationships, play out these experiences in ways that you cannot do in non-physical. Would it be fun if you came with all your cosmic memory? Would it be fun if you came and you were like, every person you saw, oh, I knew him from 3 past lives, and oh, now I feel attached to him. Oh no, what do I do? I remember her from that past life and we were enemies, and then you'd get caught up in that. You'd have all this memory and then, I miss this location. I miss living there. I miss that. If you'd spent your whole life doing that, you wouldn't have any time to live and be the version of you that you can be now. So we have this gift of temporary amnesia when we're born. So we can come on a free slate and have fun. It's like if you were to go on vacation, take all your work with you, and you had so much work to do while you're on vacation. Are you really going to enjoy that? You're thinking about what Stacy's going to say when you get back and what your boss is going to say and how Ludwig's going to handle things if you don't get this done right. You're not going to enjoy the vacation. But if you leave all your work at home and you go on vacation and you have a whole week with a new environment around new people where you get to do fun, different things. You get to sleep in a B&B or a hotel room without all of your crap you have to worry about washing and cleaning up and putting away. It's so much more fun, isn't it? So much nicer. So that's sort of how it is when we're born into this world, so that our human selves don't get overwhelmed and we don't misunderstand and give all these meanings to everything, because nothing has meaning until you assign meaning. We have this ability to come and to be free and to, have this clean slate of amnesia with this new temporary identity and to play it out here in this world. And then next time, if we want, we can choose something else. So, but anyway, I think it's very important because in my course, I say metaphysical sampler, and people are wondering, what is metaphysics? And as I mentioned, I had no idea that people didn't know what metaphysics was. I grew up with it. So I figured everybody knew what metaphysics was. Okay. So hopefully that helps you guys to understand. And in that course, I'm using 10 areas of metaphysics. one each week for people to test out and to try and to practice, to see what they like and they don't like, to see where their strengths are, to build confidence, where they can have fun and support in doing that. So anyway, I'm super excited. For those of you who just logged on, just quick reminders. If you want to meet your spirit guides, go to the top of my Psychic Medium page. There's only a few spots left. Meet Your Spirit Guides is September 14th. If you want to get to know your spirit guides better, do you want to get to know who your spirit guides are? It doesn't matter what level you are. You can not believe that you have spirit guides. You can know that you have spirit guides or sense them, but not know who they are and not know when they're messaging you and if those messages are really them. You can know that it's them, but want to deepen your connection. You can have a close connection with your spirit guides and connect with them every day, but still want to know more. Maybe you want validation for who they are. Maybe you're looking for names. Maybe you want to be able to see them. Maybe you can hear them or feel them, but you want to be able to sense them in other ways. Maybe you want to be a better receiver. Maybe you want to know and get validation for how they are speaking to you. Maybe, there's so many things, but either way, no matter what level you are on, Meet Your Spirit Guides event. I do 10 a month, 10 people a month, because you guys get a lot of attention. And it is only $40 for 2 hours. Most readers I know charge at least $200 for an hour reading. So $40 for 2 hours to meet your spirit guides is nothing. So if you want to join me, this was Spirit Guides idea. Just remember, you have to actually register. I have this posted on my page as an event, and what I see is people are saying they're interested or they're going. And I don't want you guys to be disappointed. If you haven't paid and registered, followed the link and registered, you will not get the Zoom link. You will not be going. Okay. So if you actually want to meet your spirit guides, you can't just say going. You have to actually register at the link. And I would recommend watching Spirit Guide Saturday. It's a video I made last December. I've already mentioned in this here once, but we've got different people on here now than we did in the beginning. Spirit Guide Saturday. It was a spirit guide event where I answered all the basic questions about spirit guides. I would watch that video first and then see if you want to register for Meet Your Spirit Guides. Okay. Because it's just always an absolutely phenomenal event and I love it. All right, guys, so I have about 10 minutes left. I want to also remind everyone that, to check out my video I have pinned about the free 20-minute discovery calls. These are not free readings. If you schedule a 20-minute discovery call with me, you are not going to be getting a free reading. It is not a free coaching call. I will not be coaching you on this call. Okay. This is this is my business. I have to make a living too. And I do so many things for free. So I have space for 5 free 20-minute discovery calls per week. And you will get a plan and an assessment of where you are. So these are for people who are wanting to either strengthen their intuition, who want or need or interested in mindset work, who want to learn to better manifest, who are feeling stuck, who are struggling or suffering with something. What the 20-minute discovery call is, and it's absolutely free. It is not a sales call. It is not a reading, and it is not a coaching call. Okay. It is where we sit down and you share with me what it is you're wanting, what it is you're either wanting to learn and develop. Maybe it's skills, abilities, or confidence, or what you're stuck or struggling with. And I will use my neuroscience, psychology, and mindset and mindfulness background combined with my intuitive psychic abilities. And I have a gift for knowing exactly where people are and exactly what they need. And if they follow what I'm being shown, they always get the results they want. The problem is getting them to follow through with that. But you will leave that call with a plan of what to do. And that plan could range from, it's going to incorporate whatever it is you can afford. So it might be that you can't afford anything, and I can direct you to some YouTubes and books and maybe some free groups that can offer you support. Okay. It's not the same as investing in something. Hi, Golden Bark. Welcome. But you've got to start somewhere. Then there's very low cost things, right? Like maybe books you need to get, or, you know, a weekend workshop or something that you can invest in. And then there's, you know, more in-depth work. If you can afford that and you're willing to invest in it. I have a lot of colleagues that work in a variety of areas, and I'm good at matching people up to them. So what I will do as part of your plan is I will match you up if you're wanting to work with someone who I think is a good match for you. Okay. And so if it's, you know, if it's crystals, I might send you off to Susie. If it's healing, I might send you off to my colleague, Chris. So I will give you, you will leave that call with a plan. Now, if I think you are a good match, because I'm picky about who I invite into my programs, and you are interested in working with me, I will also give you those options if I think I can help you. Okay. But, you know, those free discovery calls, you know, I'm only asking that you are sincere and that you understand they are not free readings. They are not free coaching sessions, and they are not sales calls. So you need to come with an open mind, getting ready to walk away with a plan of the 3 steps you need to do next. Okay. And I'd like to help at least 100 people before January 2025. So for the end of this year, I'm looking to help at least 100 people with those discovery calls. So if you're interested, you guys need to message me at larkinsreadings.com, or you can private message me on my Facebook page. Okay. All right, guys. Nobody asked for readings today. That was fine. That's great. If you just logged on, I'm going to log off because I have another live I have to get on at 4 p.m. my time. Please know that if you just logged on, the rebroadcasts are just as valuable. Spirit came through with some amazing wisdom today. We talked about what is your intuition, the difference between metaphysics and spirituality. I shared with you a little story about my spirit guides and how often we miss what they're sharing. This was we talked about what it means, what sacredness means. So this was a very information-packed Angels in Action today. And I want to thank you for being a beautiful and amazing audience. Know that these videos do not go out of date. So even if it's on the rebroadcast, Spirit knew you were going to be here and has something for you. So I'd go back and listen to the beginning if you missed this. Okay. Susie and I will be back. She was with her granddaughter today, but we will be back next week for Angels in Action on Monday. Monday and Tuesday, I do live free readings on Veronica Jenkins' group at 4 p.m. EDT, 9 p.m. BST. Wednesday, Chris Alba and I are on, and we talk about manifesting and conscious awakening. Okay. You can find that here as well. On Fridays is Furball Fridays. It is an hour dedicated to nothing but non-human animal readings. That means animal totems and all sorts of fun stuff. Animal communication, animal mediumship. You're welcome to join me there as well. If you follow the page, you guys can follow that. Don't forget to check out Susie's pages and her beautiful angel cards and journals that she's creating. Okay. And I have all sorts of free events, guys. I have a full moon reading event for only $15. And we're going to do a little full moon ceremony, and everybody gets a short reading on the 18th of September. That is, you know, one of the full moon days. So I'm super excited about that. And also the Angels in Action. Also the Awakening Your Intuition program. If you guys are interested in learning how to strengthen your intuition, remember who you are, and learn about 10 different aspects of metaphysics. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening. And those of you joining me on Veronica Jenkins' page, find me a medium. I'll see you in a few minutes.